Hello, Home Slices. It is Kiera with Home Slice Adulting coming to you guys with my review for Braxton Family Values. As you can see in the title, episode 11 of season 6. I'm going to apologize that this review is a few days late, but better late than never is what they say. Okay, I found out that my cable that I have here in my new home does not include WeTV. So I've had to get a little creative in figuring out how to watch Braxton Family Values, okay? But we're not going to get into that today. Before we get into the review, I wanted to thank you for watching this video, for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Now, for those of you who are not subscribed, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button below. And just so you can stay abreast of everything that's going on my channel. And for those of you who want to be the first to know when I post a video, be sure to hit that notification bell. Let's get into my review of season 6, episode 11 of Braxton Family Values. Now, during the opening sequence of Braxton Family, they stop the Braxton Family Values song to bring us some news. Apparently, 3 weeks prior to the airing of this episode, production was forced down, and Traci decided to continue with the show despite the fact that her sisters had decided to protest the show. From my understanding, her sisters protested the show because of money issues, asking for more money, whatever, contract disputes. What we're seeing right now is what happens when the cameras cut back on to continue filming with just Traci for now. Now, we see Traci crying her eyes out because she had to make a tough decision and she is facing the repercussions of going against her sisters. Traci tells us was 3-way into that conversation regarding a boycott of the Braxton Family Values production, and Traci decided not to play along. She says that the last time she conversed with Tawanda and Trina was to say that she would not be participating in a boycott, that she would go on. Now, just because of what I know about the Braxton sisters and because of what Trace told us, it's coming off to me that Tawanda is the ringleader in this boycott. I don't know idea, but I find like this particular situation is similar to how hard Tawanda was going about y'all, something just popped into my mind, and I want y'all to tell me what y'all think, okay? Because I have notes, and basically because I take notes in full sentences, but something just popped into my head that makes me make a connection that I had not thought about regarding Braxton Family Values. So listen to what I got to say. So my initial thoughts were that, earlier this season, Tawanda was very adamant about suing Tamar's husband, Vince, regarding the royalties to the Braxton Family theme song, claiming the other sisters, aside from Tamar and maybe Tony, were not paid for contributing their voices to the Braxton Family Values theme song. Now, I feel like Tawanda was going extra hard. So here are my thoughts. The thought that just popped into my head is that Vince and Tamar saw the footage of them discussing past due pay regarding the theme song. And instead of them moving forward with suing Vince, especially considerable, Tamar and Vince convinced the sisters that it would be better to go after Braxton Family Values salary as opposed to trying to get money out of Vince. Those are my initial thoughts that are going on right now, okay? So in my mind, Tamar and Vince convinced the sisters to protest the show so that they could get more in lieu of them suing Vince to get money regarding the theme song. So that just popped into my head. Tell me what y'all think about that particular theory. But moving on, we see Daddy Braxton come to comfort Traci. Traci said that she made her decision because she is a Braxton sister, and this is the Braxton show, and that she still has things going on in her life. Now, personally, I think that Traci has finally reached a point where she feels that she's gotten it together and that she can have an opportunity to showcase how she's preparing for her next album and how it would be a wasted opportunity if she did not continue filming. Now, let me tell y'all something. Traci is by far one of the more entertaining sisters, okay? And I think that this is her opportunity to leave her sisters behind the same way she left them behind. Not on some revenge kind of stuff, but she has to start thinking about herself the same way her sisters thought about themselves when they left Traci behind, okay? So good for Traci, and the show must go on. Now, next, she's talking to Braxton about what happened, and Traci says that she's being treated like she is a traitor. But Daddy Braxton is being very supportive, and I love that. One of the sisters said that basically Traci is dead to them. Traci feels like she has always been treated more like a cousin than a sister. I mean, this is just a repeat of 22 years ago. And Daddy Braxton is basically telling her, do not go down that road. It's not 22 years ago. You have a gift. You have to share it with the world, and don't allow what your sisters are doing to stop you from what you're supposed to be doing as an individual, and that's getting your new career off the ground after not having the head start that your sisters had with their music careers. So I thought that was a good little pep talk. Next, we see Traci on Duchess duty with her grandchild. She's chilling with the grandbaby, and it reminds her of working with her family and how much she misses them. She claims that she didn't know that they were not taping. Traci said that she's going to stick to her, going to continue to work, and that the comment about one of her sisters saying that Traci was dead to them stood out to as if, you know, she's going to distance herself from that particular sister, and that whoever said it is not important. And that she respects her sister's decisions to boycott the show, and that she feels that her sisters should respect her decision as well. And I agree. Now, there was something that happened at the end of the show, you know, when they show a preview of what's going to happen next week, that makes me question how this whole situation went down. Because from what we're hearing from Traci, it seems like suddenly out of the blue, she was asked to protest the Braxton Family Values show along with her sisters. That's the way it's coming off to me. I want to know if the sisters were already in communication and discussions about being unhappy with their pay, or if Tawanda was like, well, we talked to Vince after the episode aired about us suing him, and he suggested that it was to boycott the show and get more money from the show as opposed to suing him because he's already going through financial difficulties and having to sell their house or whatever. And so, you know, suing Vince would not makes sense because he ain't got no money, okay? But moving on, were they in discussions about this, or was this something that they discussed without Traci hop on the bandwagon when they asked her once? We don't know what the situation is, but we'll talk about it a little bit more later on once we get to the end, talking about the end of the episode. But I don't understand. Like, do they think money will help them solve their family problems? I don't know. Moving on, Traci is still in communication with Tony and her mom, but she avoids conversations about business. And then the situation where she said she was getting on a plane to visit her mom, and then her mom was saying, oh, I thought we weren't filming. And Traci was like, what? I don't understand. Like, maybe Traci said, I'm not going to participate in the protest with. She was not told by her sisters that they had already started the protest. Maybe that's where the confusion is. But moving on, Daddy Braxton needs to see Kevin Jr. for an important discussion. But next we see Traci in the studio, and Cliff, who is Tracy's manager, has his own confessional now. He doesn't know what happened because he's been getting calls from her sisters or whatever. Traci tells him what happened, and she gets emotional. We see that they put a little blog that Traci is continuing to film while the rest of the girls are negotiating about returning to the show. Cliff is not surprised at the way her sisters are treating her. He felt like she has always gotten the short end of the stick. And now Traci is putting her foot down and making her own decisions. She stood up for herself, and I know it's hurting her emotionally, but I applaud her for being able to have her own mind, her own thoughts, her own professional integrity, because it says something about her that she signed a contract and is willing to fulfill the terms of that contract. Okay. But moving on, she still isn't sure that she's doing the right thing, but she's going with her gut. And I appreciate that about Traci. Another possibility, I guess, that we have to consider is that the interview, Wanda and Tamar sit down to discuss the protest. And I don't know how they caught this on film. If y'all are protesting, how are they catching y'all talking about the protests on film? Anyways, Tawana and Tamar are sitting down during this part of the preview, and they are discussing how they feel betrayed by Traci, because initially Traci was on board with the protest, and then she reneged and showed up for filming. There are a lot of explanations. It's a possibility that there was just a miscommunication, that Traci did not know when they were starting the protest. There's the possibility that Traci maybe talked to her manager about protesting, and Cliff said, no, you have a new album coming out, and this is your opportunity to stand out on your own. If your sisters aren't coming to the show, then you use the 60 minutes of the show that you will have dedicated to just you to talk about all of the things that you are doing to prepare for this album, give them a taste of the album. And I will admit, if Cliff convinced Traci to protest, to not protest, and to go against what her sisters were telling her to do, I feel like that was the right move for her career. And it is 100% within Traci's right to want to protest at first and decide not to at the last minute, because everyone reserves the right to change their mind about something. Everyone has that ability to do that, and to not expect to Traci just because, you know, it's your sister and she should be with you regardless. It's just not the way it is. But moving on, assures her and says that Traci is going to be rewarded for doing what she thinks is right. Now, next we see Daddy Braxton at the church with little Kevin, and he's asking about the christening or dedication of Kevin III to the Lord. Now, Daddy Braxton wants to do it because there is time during his schedule, and Kevin has reservations about implanting their child in Christianity at such a young age. Now, I am Christian, but I won't call it a denomination because our church is non-denominational, but the portion of Christianity that I am a part of does not believe in the dedication or christening of children. And apparently Olivia was raised Seventh-day Adventist, so they don't necessarily believe in it either. They believe in waiting until the child is a little bit older to talk about baptism and whatnot. So I understand their reservations about having their baby dedicated, and I respect the fact that Kevin and Olivia want to reserve the right to raise their child in the faith that they want to raise their child, especially considering how Olivia was raised in a different division of Christianity. Now, I hear that interfaith relationships are some of the most broken up relationships, so they do need to figure that out and figure out how they're going to work through raising a child growing up with different belief systems. But Daddy Braxton wants Kevin to talk to Olivia about it, and we see that a little bit later. Next, we see Traci and Kevin furniture shopping to lift her spirits, and her spirits were very lifted, okay? They bought a new house and they're looking for furniture for a boom boom room, which room that is not room that they like to get busy in. And now that the kids are gone, they are free to do that. They're being super nasty on the furniture, funny and also inappropriate at the same time, like to the point where the furniture store salesman is like wiping his face because they're making him all sweaty and blush. It's funny to me. But it's also yucky. Okay, moving on, we see Daddy Braxton, we see Kevin and Big Kevin, and we see Traci. They are eating crabs. I love crabs, but I prefer, just the crab legs, big crab legs. Those crabs are a little small for my liking, but I love crabs. Okay, moving on. Apparently, little Kevin, Olivia, and the littlest Kevin, the new baby, are not in their own apartment. They are living at Olivia's mom's house. So they just went from one parent's house to another parent's house. That's interesting. Moving on, we see Daddy Braxton talking about the dedication, and Traci respects that they have to make their own decisions about their own family values. Braxton Family Values. But he wants them to make a public statement about what they are deciding regarding the faith that they are raising their son in. I don't necessarily think that that is fair, but at this point, I did not know that Olivia was Seventh-day Adventist. Seventh-day Adventist is a division of Christianity, so she was not necessarily raised in a different religion as opposed to like a different division of that religion. But moving on, Kevin and Olivia are young people, and they may not have figured out by now what they want to do regarding the faith of their child. Now, Traci wants to wait at least until the family gets back on the same page, but she recognizes that it is not her child, and who knows how long it's going to take them to get back on the same page, okay? So Daddy Braxton said that they could put aside their feelings. If the sisters wanted to, they could put aside their feelings to come to this dedication, considering how this is the first great-grandchild in the Braxton family. And they could put aside their feelings to come to the dedication if they wanted to. And they bring up how much of a mess it was during the dedication of Logan. And he makes a joke about how they better be glad he doesn't have the blessing oil or the baby would be greasy. That was funny to me. But moving on, we see Traci shopping with a celebrity stylist. Looking for another dress. She comes out in a figure skating outfit, looking like Sonny and Cher with no pants on. And then the second dress can't fit Traci, so she feels like she needs to get back. And so, of course, she calls Dr. Chikaya and talks about, needing some help with fitness and nutrition. And he immediately asks her if something is going wrong in her life, that stress is one of those things that, goes from the outside and works its way in. So he invites her to his fitness camp in Santa Clarita, and there are already 2 people signed up. And because of confidentiality thingies, he can't say their names, but that she can bring a +1. Now, reality TV, we all know, can come off as being contrived. And this is probably one of the few times I felt like Braxton Family Values was contrived, because they really do go through family drama, and a lot of their situations come off as very authentic. The fact that there are so many celebrities that are going to be at this particular fitness camp, to me, feels contrived, but whatever. One, we see Traci, the Kevins, and Olivia at lunch. They talk about the blessing of the baby, and we find out that, Olivia is 7-day Adventist at this point, and claims that in the Seventh-day Adventist belief system, they wait until later to introduce baptism. And Olivia at first is a little unsure, but Traci says that she wants to support them no matter what, and Olivia decides that she is okay with it. With the dedication, and how it wasn't really a big deal. I really like that. Issues over religion can become a big deal in families, and the last thing this family needs is another issue on top of the issues that they already have. So we see Traci comes home, and Kevin Jr. shows up demanding things and taking things out of the fridge. And we see that the talks with the other sisters have come to a head. We don't know what that head is just yet, but we do know that there has been some type of resolve. Okay, so moving on, we see Kevin Jr.'s dedication. or the mama will be there. And that's very unfortunate that they would miss an important moment in Tracy's life, in the life of their, grandson and nephew, and, their great nephew. That's just very unfortunate that they would miss that. But it goes off without a hitch. And it seemed like it was actually a nice event. So lastly, we are at the fitness camp. Traci brings her friend Nikki, and she's supporting her at the training camp. Nikki says she has lost 50 pounds, and she has a really good sense of humor. I actually enjoy Nikki. I like her. Other celebrities start showing up. We see Lunel. I enjoy Lunel. Natalie Nunn's Club. I've never particularly cared for her, but I do like that she is no longer the bad girl to the extent that we knew her when we first were introduced to her on the Bad Girls Club. Now, immediately, Lunel is being messy and saying that as having a bad girl reputation, like Natalie Nunn, she's an actual bad girl. The problem I have with bringing the other people into this show is not the fact that they are not Braxtons. That has never bothered me because the other sisters have brought celebrities that are not Braxtons on the show as well. Tamar has a million gay friends that she has brought on this show. Tony has brought on Birdman, and Tawanda has a few celebrity friends, maybe has celebrity friends, I don't even know. But the point is that I don't care that there are people supporting Traci, because as long as they are an extension of what Traci is doing, it counts as Braxton Family Values to me. The issue that I have is there are going to be beefs just based off what we have heard from these celebrities at this fitness camp. There are going to be beefs and dislike between these other celebrities on the show that are going to have a big part of the show, and that is not Braxton Family Values related. The drama that we saw on Braxton Family Values was within the family, and families have drama all the time. And it's okay to highlight everybody's in agreement. But now that there seems to be some type of discord between Lunel and Natalie, and then Natalie doesn't seem to really care for Phaedra, which, comes up next. I don't like that there's going to be a very Real Housewives type of drama. And this show is about family drama, okay? Not, women drama at a fitness camp. I don't like that. Moving on, we see Phaedra before Phaedra shows up, Traci goes to the bathroom and everybody else discusses the other Braxton sisters walking off the show, and they kind of commend Traci for making her own decision. Another person shows up, and it's Phaedra, of course. We see a producer ask Traci what would happen if one of her sisters showed up to support her there, and Traci didn't like that and ended up walking off. We got no resolve from that particular issue. Phaedra says that she needs time to herself, and that's why she showed up here camp. I think that she got a call from Traci asking her to show up for the camp, and she showed up because Phaedra no longer has FaceTime with the camera, because she is no longer on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I feel like she's trained to try to find her another job or something. But moving on, Nikki thinks that Phaedra is cute. Phaedra is trying to get clean, being inappropriate, the inappropriate Phaedra that we know. Natalie thinks Phaedra is bougie. We'll see how they get along later on. They discuss the age-old decision that women have to make regarding family versus career. And this is a perfect segue into how, the Braxton sisters have left Traci in the lurch and how she's doing her own thing now. So next time on Braxton Family Values, we see more sister drama. Tony actually appears on the show to talk with Traci. Tamar and Tawanda show up for whatever reason, and Tawanda claims that Traci said she was going to boycott and then showed up for taping. Traci has every right to change her mind, Tawanda. I really don't like Tawanda, y'all. But we'll have to figure out what exactly is the truth. Apparently, y'all, something that I just found out before I started filming this review, is that the Braxton sisters, all of them signed up to be on Iyanla Fix My Life, and it did not go well. So we will get to see from two perspectives how that went, because apparently Braxton Family Values filmed the same time that Iyanla Fix My Life filmed. Apparently it did not go well. And we'll guys for watching. This review went on a lot longer than I wanted it to go on, but you all have a great day. Have a great extended weekend for those of you who have Labor Day off of work. I am one of those people now that I work for a school, and I'm not in an essential position where I have to be at work all the time regardless of a holiday. It's a paid holiday for me. Super cool. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day. Peace out.